and I also at that time realized all the pressure. It's a lot of pressure to run a business.
Yeah.
And I'm not making no excuses for what he did. I'm just talking about at this particular time where I was at mentally. I'm saying, yo, I'm watching. I remember Tom's Puff in the stock market crash of 2007 lost his pants during the crash. You know what I'm saying? And to be a young black man at that time and find out you just lost 30, 50, whatever the fuck $1 million, but still Friday have to pay these checks and all these people in not 1 week ended up missing. So I would I was one of those people that would make excuses for him and say, yo, he just upset, or yo, she did some dumb shit, or yo, this, that, and other, not really understanding that mentally you're taking so much out of that woman by screaming and yelling. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You take it, and like I said, you know, my wife told me, yo, you take so much out of me. You know, I don't want to do this. I'm walking on toenails in my own house now. And, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I seen that. And now that I understand it, it's not always about the physical. If you put your hands, if I take and I push you, I shouldn't push you enough where you go out the fucking door and you end up on your ass. You know, so we men at the end of the day. Yeah. It's a way that you can protect yourself if somebody hits you. And these ain't even people that's hitting you. These are people that if you scream, they gonna really go into their shell. And a lot of them mentally never came back from that. And all this video did, and I'm talking about actually people that know them, all they did was bring back those days, bring back those times, those memories, where we were the ones that were going to the hotels after you did this shit to kind of make sure makes sense that person was all right.
So they have like a little bit of PTSD after all that, basically.
Yeah, and that's how we felt like we helped. We felt like we helped by going to check on the person after the situation, going to make sure they was all right, going to the store. At the end of the day, you was our boss. Okay? It's not that easy to walk away. It's not that easy to go against your boss. At the end of the day, you was our boss. If you beat up Cassie and then you asked us to go to the hotel the next day, in our mind, we're saying, at least you care.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't make sure that she was all right the next day. Go see if she needs some food. Yo, take her this credit card. She could go shopping. Now she's going to end up with all type of Louis Vuitton bag, all type of every month. Because guess what?
Post and
also, so guess what? We think she all right now.
Yeah. Well, you know what else too, man? I got a couple friends that are in the security industry and world, private and just clubs and here all different levels. And one of the things that they mentioned is a lot of times when I'm hired as security, private security especially, I'm not there to protect them from other people. I'm there to protect them from themselves. This is like high ticket, high line, VIP. I can't even tell you who I got this week. I'm guarding somebody and they on that island or whatever the case might be. I'm not there to protect them from other people. I'm there to protect them from themselves. I got to make sure he gets home. She gets home. She gets back, or, you know, that the spouse doesn't find out, or I got to make sure that everything stays under wraps, that TMZ stays behind that gate. I got to make sure that, you know, eat something, big dog, because you've been drinking a lot. Like, that's what I'm really doing. So security, y'all take a different type of responsibility that I don't think is really talked about. It's not just I'm packing a pistol when I wear a bulletproof shirt. You know, I got to make sure other things happen, that the valet is there and so much little stuff.
Oh, yeah. Man. Yo, how we getting in? How we getting out? If a situation, which way we going? To the left or right? You don't want to get into a situation and we run into the front of the club. You know, when the back door was right there and we run into a situation. So it's so many different, and when you deal with a person like Diddy, he think he know everything. It's been times where,
that's tough.
A motherfucker tell you, yo, I told you we need to go this way. Now fuck that, man, nigga, we going this way.
Yeah.
You know who I am? Yeah, and then when we go that way, we get into some shit, or we run into a dead end, and you just sitting there,
like get me out of here.
Yeah, like I'm driving, like I hate people who sit on the passenger side and tell you which way to go. I swear to you, B, I used to take that front seat And I used to hit the Cadillac and put the front seat all the way up so that when a person see it, they'll go in the back. This motherfucker stand there and pull the seat back. I'd be like, God damn. And then he want to look at that. Yo, why you ain't go left? Why you ain't go right? Yo, why you? And a motherfucker
Mostly
make you
it's
nervous.
women.
Yeah. And it's like, yo, come on, man. What are you doing?
Park there. Wait,
Yeah.
wait, slow down. Like, man, come
Now
on,
let me ask you before we
Bro.
get too far past these assistants, the chef, and what did you say it was Jen?
Yeah.
Did they stick around?
Well, Jen didn't stick around. Jen left. Jen said that she was so, allegedly, she was so messed up that she really didn't even deal with the industry.
So
too
she's
much no more.
traumatized.
Yeah. And the chef, the last time I spoke to her, she was seeking help. She was going to see psychiatrists, but she could no longer afford psychiatrists. And from what they was telling me was that
And this is the one that he
shoved.
and he shoved her. He put his hand.
He
in her
shoved
face.
her and put
Both.
his hand in her
Okay.
forehead. That she's
But
going
she stuck
through.
around for a while.
Yeah, I would say no. At that time, she left.
Okay.
At that time, she left. You know, I don't really want to tell her story because she, you know, her name is Chef
Yeah.
Jordan Chaton. You know what I'm saying? She's, you know, she's available. I guess. You know what I'm saying?
she's
She
still-
hasn't really said nothing, but I know that her close people reached out to me and said, "You need to talk to her, Barnes. She going through something." I was like, what's she going through? And they was like, yo, ever since she seen the Kazi video, she feels like this. But she remembers that you did jump in between them one day, and she told us.
But she
ourselves.
probably can't speak on it herself. Is that a thing?
I don't know. If anything, she probably has she probably can't speak on it herself.
Because I
You know
feel
what
like
I'm
it
saying?
seems like that's the narrative that's been going around about a lot of the people that are involved with the Diddy situation is just saying a lot of NDAs, and there's one reason you're not hearing their names because you got everybody that's coming out, right?
Right.
You got them coming out like Diddy hasn't, and you got
Yeah.
Well, for you know what else?
No
too?
Diddy.
For her, if she's still working, not only could there be an NDA, but it's just not in her best professional interest. Because you coming into these people's homes and cooking for their families, and you might be there for breakfast,
And we don't
lunch,
know who
dinner.
else got these same problems.
Correct.
Yeah.
So she might has worked for other people, or could potentially work for other people in the future.
Could be working for somebody right
But they're gonna be like, I don't want her in my home. She was on TMZ.
and their fear for Diddy.
So for her
Right.
professional courtesy and, you know, the things that might have happened in the past, things she might have witnessed and have been a victim of, you don't want to go through that. You don't want to bring that shit up. You want to kind of just let it be.
But yeah, also to your point, man, it's like we don't really think about like if a dude yells at us, right, it gets in our face, we basically gonna look at it like a dude wants to fight us.
Right.
But for a woman, if a dude gets in her face and yells at her, she thinking that nigga want to kill her,
Right.
and them
Right.
feelings never leave them. You know what I'm saying? They felt like they had a near death experience. So I can understand what you're saying. Like, oh, they watched the video, it triggers them. They think about all the stuff they had to go through. So it's gonna affect them totally different.
And you're looking at his size. You're looking at his size, and you're looking at the fact that if he hits me, it's gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and some of these people have brothers. Some of these people have fathers. I remember it was another chef that he screamed on so bad, and she cried a little bit, and then she said, "Barnes, I'm calling my father. I'm calling my father." And I went outside with her. She said, "No, because ain't no motherfucking man gonna be talking to me like that." And da-da-da-da-da. And he made her cry and everything. And I talked her out of talking because if you call your father now, I gotta get involved in it.
Yeah, hell
Because
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You call your father, I can't let him come up here and do nothing and do this, that, and other. So
Because your job ultimately is
to protect him.
Diddy, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And at that particular time, he never put his hands on this one. He just yelled at her to the point where he made her cry. And like I said, he liked to make a woman cry. That's like, okay, I made it. You know, I seen him make Amanda. Amanda was his house manager in Miami, and I seen her.
What's a house manager?
A house manager is somebody that when you have multiple houses, you need somebody to manage them. You need to make sure that the workers, the groundkeepers, the servants, everybody is there on time because they're getting paid every week. That if you call and say, "Yo, look, I got some friends that's gonna come to the house this weekend. I want to make sure the whole house is cleaned up. They're gonna get over there, make sure all the rooms is for I'm coming up there. We're gonna stay there for 2 weeks. So you know that they gotta get the workers to be there for 2 weeks, do everything else like that. And they mess up a lot of times in different ways. I remember one time, sometimes it's a lot of food left over. And I remember one time, and a lot of the workers are Mexican, you know what I'm saying? Especially in Miami. Yeah. So they're not Mexican in Miami. You got the Cubans.
No, it's Mexicans in Miami.
No, no. Not only Mexicans. I'm gonna hold to that. They got the Cubans, and then they got a lot of Brazilian.
Yeah, Brazilian.
A lot of Brazilian, especially in the cleaning business.
I'm just helping you out because you're gonna get some of them that get mad.
It's not in the bad way.
Think about you calling me Mexican motherfucker.
Yeah, and I meant to say Brazilian and stuff, and beautiful and everything else like that. And then sometimes she would just let them eat the food because rather than throw it away, she'd be like, come in the house and eat, you out there. And one time Puff seen that shit and went fucking crazy, right? Now I thought he shook Amanda, so Amanda I think was Brazilian, but he shook her so hard, she was crying, she quit and everything else like that. She ended up coming back. Eventually they do. And now I know that's a part of the sickness also. Is that when that person that you look up to and you honor so much, you know what I'm saying? Because we got to deal with reality. I've heard grown men say in the liquor business, I'm working for Diddy. And these are men making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a year. It's just that they grew up worshiping Diddy, Biggie Smalls. And this, I can't believe it. I told my kids I work for Diddy and they like, you know what I'm saying? So imagine how someone of that stature says, I work for Diddy. You want everything that he say to be real. So when he call you back and say, I'm sorry, I really need you here. I can't run this house without you. She end up coming back. Easily. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's okay. Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Yeah.
It's cool. Let's just move forward. And you get
those things that happen. So it's like when I looked at the apology, it was like, why did you make it when you know there's so many people that's going to be affected by this apology? You know what I'm saying? So many people that's going to look at it, so many people. We're not even just talking about Cassie no
So you think he should have just shut his mouth?
I think he should have shut his mouth, or it should have been done correctly. Honestly speaking, I always said this, and I said this the last time I was here, he needed to humble himself. But most of all, your best way to show people that you realize you're wrong is to get help and for people to see you getting help. So when you get up there and say, I've been seeking help and I've seen this. Where's the person at? We at this point, we need to see you on CNN and everything else saying goodbye to everybody because you're going into a 6-month program. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing we know about people is they will forgive you. Same way if you a drug addict, they will forgive you if you getting help. Right. Yeah. So don't you parading around and still hanging out with your homeboys and then get up here and say you sorry and you was in the darkest point of your life in 2016 when it's a known fact that this is dating back to 1996, 97, 2000. So you couldn't have been in your lowest all of these years, all of this time.
This is just
so
how you
think
operate.
about what you're saying. Because what you're saying is affecting and bringing back a lot of emotions in a lot of different people. And that was one of the main things that made me say, I'm not going to turn around, go back in my corner, because it was so many people reaching out to me. And I was like, it made me start reading up on everything so that when I give you advice and I do talk to you, I know what I'm talking about.
And it's real.
And it's real.
Damn, man, they put that burden on you, man.
Now, Akademiks said there was 3 ways, right? He's and I know that Akademiks said some things about you that you're upset about.
And I don't know this dude from a hole in the wall. Yeah. But what I will say before you get finished is, these podcasts done open so many different motherfucking doors just for anybody to say anything. Yeah. That in those days when they felt like you would ride up or you could be seen at any place, they would not say it.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Akademiks. Like, I'm like, Akademiks. And then I look and I see, yo, who's Akademiks? And I'm looking at it. Yo, he looked like, and I'm not getting down on him. You know, that might be the style of today, but it looked like one of the dudes that you lived in the project, but he always went to the baseball field.
Yes,
and he was like, oh, he going to the baseball field. You know, okay, cool. So when I hear this, but evidently he's somebody of some stature with the podcast and everything else.
You're still right, but
Yeah.
he does have a big podcast, and
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And
got
I
a
was
hell of a
like-
platform.
He's good.
Yeah, I was like, how does he feel like? And I heard he broke down every little thing, this, that, and the other.
Which I gotta say, he's good at. Like,
Right.
like the dude's
He's on it.
A1. You know what I mean? He could break
Mm-hmm.
it down. Like, I'll be watching them shit sometimes, and I'd be like, oh, I get it. Yeah,
But he was one of them that said, yo, Diddy must have not brought him the bag. Yo, Diddy, you need to bring him the bag. And it wasn't about the bag. It wasn't about the bag. It was just about.
and he was breaking down
bullshit.
our interview with you, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, what was he bringing in? Well, come on, you tell me about it.
Somebody sent me the.
Okay.
Again, we've been doing so many goddamn shows. A lot of these shows ain't even aired yet.
Okay.
Like facts. Like we got so many fucking shows that
I'm so
haven't
hyped.
even aired yet. You know, so we've been working so hard that, you know, people have sent me links. My man right here, my man V, is one of the people that told me about it, right? My not mistake. I think you're the one that brought it up. Yeah, so like I know these shits are going on, but I haven't yet gotten the time to sit down and
So what
kinda
do
look
you
at
know
him.
that he said? Because you were saying it was 3 things that he broke down.
okay, so I know that he broke down 3. He said there's 3 ways
He can get out
that he
of
could
it.
get out of it. One of them is if Diddy were to come out as gay or bi.
Okay.
Because
One
they
of-
get away with murder.
Or if he comes out and says he identifies as a woman, because he would also
Wow.
murder, right? And I want you to keep these in mind. So there's that way. He could get away with it by saying he was touched as a child,
Okay.
right? And the other is that he has mental health issues and he's seeking therapy. Do you think there's any truth that if he were to really approach it this way, that the world would let him walk?
No, I don't think so. Only because if he was, let's say, bisexual,
Gay.
if he was gay, okay, that's something that I understand. See, when Diddy got into the game, you had the NWAs, you had the Suge Knights, you had the Tupacs. It wasn't okay to say that.
Sir, in any
You know
way.
what I'm saying? In any type of way. And I think that's where he fucked a lot of things up, because he was so eminent about protecting that image that it could have destroyed him at the same time. So it's too late for him to come out with it now, even though everybody's saying it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But none of these things that you said would cover him beating on women, beating on Cassie. None of those things would cover that. So how could any of those things get him out of trouble if none of those things cover that specific thing? I want to know what y'all think
It's a
about
good
that.
point. I think there's so much trouble that he's got to face the clock on 1 or 2 or 3 out of the 7, 8, 9, 10. You got to like, some of it you got to own. People ain't going to just wave and pretend like none of this shit happened, because another thing that people talk about, and I see this in the comments all the time, everybody's like, we knew the freak offs. We knew this and that and the extravagant lifestyle.
Which
and
nothing is
flamboyant.
wrong with.
Which nothing is wrong with. You know, you earn a,
You're a freak.
this
you
is
do your
America,
thing.
okay?
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. But the part that fucked everybody up was the gay allegations.
Now, if you
he
come
blew
out
up somebody's
and say you
car.
gay,
Oh, he put a hit on somebody, allegedly, all this. Oh, he put a hit on somebody. He did this, he did that, he did that. And everybody was like, yeah, we kind of knew that. We already accepted that. He's gay. The diddler. Oh, it was like, that's the part that fucked everybody up.
some people, but it's like what you said. Some people would be like, yo, we been knew that.
Yeah.
Some would be like, yo, we been knew that. What else is new? So it's going back to what we said. So everything, okay, blowing up the car, the violence. These things are accepted with gangster rap and coming up with the Tupac beef, the Suge beef, the this, that, and other. But the one thing that's not accepted on any level is domestic violence. So all of those things that you just said, okay, we come out with gay. Guess what? For about 6 months, people gonna talk about it, and then they're gonna be like, yo, we been knew that. Okay, at least now he can fuck with both kind, blah, blah, blah. But nobody's gonna never accept that video.
That video, man. I'm gonna be honest. Even when I saw it, I must be desensitized to it too, because the video didn't really strike me as, obviously it's bad. Obviously the character and the whole behavior and the way he had, all of that is bad. It looks bad. You out there in the lobby in your towel and it's bad. It's not good. We don't hit women. It's just okay.
And then people go back to the way where he showed her covering up with the cover and going under the table and
taunting her while he did it. Yeah.
And now,
That didn't help.
what was
Were
that
you there
about?
that day?
No,
Okay, the
no.
cover?
Of course,
Okay.
it was just them. Of course, by themselves again.
He's recording her, right?
Right. He was on vacation
Yeah.
and they was somewhere. He was like, yo, it's nice outside. Let's go out on the beach. And he showed the beach, but she was underneath the cover. So now the question comes, Kato, why was she under the cover? People thought they was in there having fun. They was high. They was bugging out. But is that what it was?
Nah, it's definitely because her face was fucked up, obviously. So let me ask you a question. Like, so what do you think is more damaging, right? The Diddy video of him beating Cassie or the picture of Rihanna's face after she got beat by Chris Brown?